Merry Christmas, guys!
Merry Christmas, Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, everyone across the country. It's December 25th. It's Christmas Day. Welcome for the last day of our Pan Canadian Advent calendar. This is the last reveal. Oh, wow. What an incredible adventure of 12 days with all of you guys. It's a day of gratefulness here at Carl's Wine Club office. Mira Boucher, Merry Christmas. Welcome,
Merry
welcome.
Christmas.
How are you doing?
Doing well, yeah, relaxed. We had a long, lazy breakfast brunch. I hope most of you have done the same. That's what I feel like Christmas morning is all about sometimes. I
Not
wish
too much
I
in a
could have
not too much of a
personally.
food coma. Not too much
I
of a
miss,
food
yeah,
coma.
I miss going to church, but there's not much of that in the Okanagan for what we do. There is an Orthodox church around here that is on a different calendar. So they celebrate Christmas January. So there you go. Not for me.
Exactly, right? Well, we'll catch them when they're ready for us.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's been good.
Awesome, awesome. Listen, today, we had 12 days of reveals across the country. We touched on, I would say, at least 7 or 8 different sub-region from Canada. I did not focus as much as touching every sub-region. We really focus on in this Advent calendar this year compared to last year. Last year was very focused on every sub-region. This year, we focus on rarity of the wine. We focus on stories behind the wine. Obviously, but going back and forth between Ontario and the Okanagan and also the Similkameen. But I mean, we didn't go to Nova Scotia. We didn't bring Benjamin Bridge. We had a feature a couple weeks ago, well, like a month ago with them. So we tried to play it out with wineries that we've not featured in the past, or we definitely did not feature this year. As much as we could, and yeah, different grape varietals. So the only grape varietals that we have touched twice, it's the Cabernet Sauvignon with yesterday a Passimento and the Rennie Obsidian, and our 2015 Iconoclast from Fairview on date number 7, I believe. So that was that. But other than that, we had a Cap Franc, we had a Merlot, we had uh, Riesling,
Malbec.
Malbec, absolutely. We got Riesling and Chardonnay and the white blend. We tried to touch like some very different deliveries from different subregion and different grape varietals. So yeah, what an interesting, and like Daryl mentioned yesterday, that he is hoping today to get at least a little candy in the sense that his favorite grape varietal is Pinot Noir. And what? After 11 days, Daryl didn't get his Pinot just yet, but why did I save a Pinot Noir for the very last? It's because it goes so well with turkey and Christmas dinner. That's the why. I've saved the very last one for the Pinot Noir because we knew we're gonna go all the way to Christmas Day, December 25th, and having a Pinot open before we hit the turkey and or the leftover, right? So I thought that was the perfect finish for us. And yes, we haven't been to the Similkameen Valley, so Pinot Noir from the Similkameen Valley. That's what we have here on deck. And now you guys don't know the vintage yet or the winery yet. Mira's gonna open it up in a few minutes time. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I would like to welcome everyone who's been following us since the day one of the reveal, since December 14. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in with us almost on a daily basis. What an incredible group you guys were to spend a daily hours with you, and some of the days even more than an hour. So what an incredible privilege it was for us.
I think
And
ferociously disciplined, not opening these bottles till we open them together, which is really fun and awesome. And his is still under wraps. So should we unwrap it?
Well, for Mike, I mean, yes, Pinot Noir, Similkameen Valley. So, I mean, there's not a ton of different wineries that you guys like we can offer that kind of quality. So there's a few possibilities. So Mira, please drum roll.
Da-da-da. Did you
Wine
get a
number
clue from
12.
the tip? We do get a
Yeah.
clue from there. Some of you know that logo.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look at that. This is Corsolet Estate Winery from the 2019, the beautiful 2019 vintage from the Similkameen. We're gonna have obviously we a pre-recorded interview with Charlie Besserer, who is the winemaker owner at Corsolet in the Similkameen. We'll talk about why the Similkameen is so different. We'll talk what is the real typicity of that incredibly beautiful sub-region of the British Columbia wine industry. Sorry about that. My apology, but
Pass
and
my germs on to Carl. It's his turn for the next week with this flu.
you know what? I have a Chardonnay in my glass. I should be just fine. So Mira,
Ah,
first before we talk Pinot, I would like to thank Daryl for helping us to choose our Christmas
oh,
dinner
last
wine
night.
last night. Mira,
Holy, it's still in this glass.
you have day two of Rennie Estate, the G,
Mm.
2016 vintage here in your
Oh,
glass.
it's a
I
big
don't know
one.
if you remember the very first time that we visited Graham at his estate on our way back to the airport after an incredible weekend in Niagara, almost a week in Niagara. We were
It
on
was your
our way
birthday.
we were on our way to the Rogers Center where the Red Sox were visiting the Blue Jays, and my mom, yeah, that is like, and we stopped there. We tasted that day in his basement the Colleen 2016, which would became our wine of the year. I think 3 years ago. But this is the G. This is the G assemblage, which is a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot, and Malbec, all estate fruit. So that's what we had last night. Because you know what?
Oh my God. And Alan and Jojo are having the same thing, you guys. We have the 2016 G Assemblage open too. It's in my
That's
glass right
awesome. Well,
now.
cheers to you. Joyeux,
It's
joyeux
still a
Noël.
baby. It's still a baby, but that's why we said we'll have one glass today and then we'll try it tomorrow and the next day as it opens up more and more. They're decanting it, which is probably what we should have done, but we have a lot of wines open, so we figured we'll just do a glass a night for a few nights.
Exactly. Bon, Joanne, Alain, joyeux Noël à vous tous, en espérant que vous passiez une très, très belle journée de Noël, que ça, c'est pas trop froid, que vous n'êtes pas trop sous la neige. Ici, on est sous la pluie. Mais on vous souhaite un très beau Noël en espérant que toutes vos proches se portent bien et que vous ayez une très belle journée. Donc, joyeux Noël à tous nos amis francophones de la belle province, des régions francophones du Canada. On veut vous remercier beaucoup pour tout le support apporté au cours de la dernière année. Puis on vous remercie de faire partie de notre calendrier de l'Avent, des 12 jours de notre calendrier de l'Avent qui fut une expérience absolument exceptionnelle. Donc, un gros merci à vous tous. There you go. That was a little thank you in French for our French
Right.
counterpart here. So,
Hey, and that's kind of interesting. Mike and Jen have a 19 upper bench Pinot Noir, but now you've got an 18 from the Similkameen.
I think it's a 19, Mira. It's a 19 from the Similkameen, not an 18.
Oh, this is 19. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
This is
I
a
had
19.
two 18 wine, which was the Malbec and the Merlot. The Pinot is a 19, so that's the only wine from the 2019. I realized that the only vintage we didn't have in the recent vintage, I believe, was the 21. We had 24 with the Riesling. We had 22 23s. The Viognier and the Syrah, which I made a pan-Canadian blend. We had a 22, I believe. Anyway, so we had a wide representation of different vintages. We didn't have 21, and we didn't have 2016, if I believe. But yeah, it was such an interesting process. So, what does? Can you go back in some of the comments, Mira, and get us a little recap on comments?
Well, just it's interesting because Mike's saying he's got that 19 upper bench Pinot Noir, and this is a 19. I didn't realize. I thought it was an 18. It's a 19 from the Similkameen. 2019 was quite a sleeper vintage in the Okanagan for reds, especially from the Nearmad bench. We're going to explore that in a lot more detail with Richard De Silva on January 15th for those of you joining us for that. And he has found in his cellar 6 verticals of 2019 Cab Sauv, Cab Franc, and Cab and Merlot. So we'll get to compare those as well, at least through Richard tasting them. And then we have 5 more that we can ship out to anybody else that would like them. I know, Mike, you were interested in that. So,
hey, Mira, that 2019 upper bench, I believe that I rated it 95 points, and it was part of my top 10 wine of the year, the first year, I believe. The first or second year, it was part of my top 10, and I believe that was the upper bench Pinot.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I can look that up while we're watching the interview and we'll find out. Jenny, it's January 15th. We're going to be meeting with Richard De Silva. We're going to do a Tasting Thursday crew. And Richard is going to be on Zoom with us. We did it a few weeks ago.
Well, Jenny was part of it with Keith Tyers.
Yeah, you were part of it with Keith Tyers. So January 15th is our next one with Richard De Silva. And he's put together 3 rare wines for us to taste if you want to taste along. You don't have to, but you can get those to taste along. And there's also 5 verticals of 2019.
These are not verticals, Mira. These are not verticals. These are horizontal of a Merlot, a Cab Franc, and a Cab Sauv from the 2019. I know that can be confusing, these darn wine terminology with up and down and left and right, horizontal, vertical, or what?
My dad is like, one leaves you vertical, one leaves you horizontal. What?
I love it.
Yeah, wish it could be on consignment. Oh, yeah, already ordered yours. Yeah, they haven't shipped yet because there's quite a fiasco with 5 trucks that blocked the highway out of the Okanagan. Long story, but it just reopened. Wasn't open for a few days, so nothing shipped out. And we're also watching weather out to Calgary and all the respective places.
Hey, Mira, just a quick little recap. So for the 3 bottle, the 3-pack, the pre-selected 3-pack is a 2023 Chenin Blanc. It's a 2022 Cabernet Franc, which has not been released yet. It's not on the market. And the 2023 Pinot Noir, which is not released either. These are 2 pre-releases. So that's the 3-pack that we're going to talk about. I was talking with Richard, and we had a conversation about 2019 vintage, how incredible the wine is aging. And I say, hey, how about we talk about it during the Zoom? I'm sure some of our people have 2019s, or they would love to hear about it. So I got 6 bottles of, so if anyone would like to taste along, if not, you can listen to the conversation and order after. A little bit like we did with Keith Tyers. We got a few extra wines. We're going to extend our conversation others than the 3-pack, the 3-pack that we've pre-selected.
Yeah. And I think the 2019 Upper Bench Pinot Noir is not the one that was in
it's probably 2020. It's the 2020,
You gave that one 90 points. You said it was great. I have the tasting notes here. It's in the archive. Mike, I can send you the link. But
it's probably the 2020. I know there's one of the Pinot from Upper Bench in my top 10 in the early years, but it's probably the 2020. But it is Christmas. Hey?
So if you open it, Mike, what'll be interesting is on release it was 90 points, but what we're finding with the 2019s is they're aging way better than we expected. Right. So sleeper vintage 2019. So it'll be interesting if you do open it to see what that's like.
Absolutely. Christmas Day, beautiful day for Pinot Noir because the pairing is absolutely incredible. Perfect with turkey and whatever else it's on your table on this special, special day. Hopefully, everyone got. Santa was pretty generous last night and this morning, and you guys had some great gift. I have a gift here. I have a glass of Chardonnay from Stratus. So this is Santa was very kind to me as well. And
And we
yeah,
did
no, I
something
tar-
kind of fun this year. Everybody gets a yes day under the tree this year. If you guys value that kind of thing, spending time together, yes days are pretty fun. It just means you get a day where the answer to everything is yes. We put a budgetary constraint around that, and also
a
no
time.
leaving the continent kind of things. But but yeah, that's kind of fun thing at our house
That's
this year.
funny because
So
just for people
yeah,
to put them in perspective of my middle boy when he got his ESD and he heard about the dollar constraint and the time constraint, he's like, okay, how long is the flight to Las Vegas? That was his first question. Do we have time to get to Las
yeah, we were like,
Vegas
it
for
has
my
to
year?
be possible within that 24 hours, and there's a budgetary limit. See, but they all got these golden tickets from Santa with a yes day. So I thought that's kind of fun. All right, Carl Boucher, should we introduce the winemaker and owner and founder at Corselet's Estate Winery in the Similkameen Valley, who made this wine and who is ready to chat with us more about it and Christmas traditions at his house and all that kind of stuff? Charlie Basler.
Please, let's go. And
Bring it on.
if you have the picture of us in the Similkameen, so people can see the beauty of a Similkameen. So
It is. Yeah. Oh, yes. Miriam, nice to see you guys. Cheers afterwards.
Charlie Besser from Corselet Estate Winery. Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Day. It's wine number 12. And finally, this is the last reveal of our Pan Canadian Advent calendar. And we're saving that very special day for a special guest. And I'm happy to have my friend Charlie here. Charlie, Merry Christmas. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Merry Christmas to you and Merry Christmas to everyone. It's such a special day of the year. So thank you so much for letting me be a part of it.
Hey, you know what? I mean, when you look at the whole calendar, you look at, and many people asking about food pairing, and I did the full food pairing with all 12 wines and all that. When you look at what we released the last 12 days, there was only one who I could save for Christmas. And because the turkey, our traditional Canadian turkey dinner goes so well with Pinot Noir. And that was in my mind the whole time. And here we are, Corselet 2019 vintage. Thank you for digging that out of the library, Charlie. And yeah, we have that with we're gonna have that with our turkey dinner tonight. Perfect pairing. Let's start, Charlie, to talk about the story of Corselet Estate Winery, based in the Similkameen Valley. For people who are listening to us back east or from all over the country, this is a parallel, or I don't know if parallel is the right term, but not the Okanagan. It's a different terroir, different location. So how about we elaborate a little bit about the story and why you've decided to locate your winery in the Similkameen?
You bet, Carl. So yeah, the Similkameen Valley geographically is just south of Penticton. We're over the mountain from Oliver, which is wine capital Canada, or wine capital BC. We are a very unique AVA, really blessed with a very exciting layout of unique slope sides and very dramatic weather. Tall mountains surround the valley here, so we get a lot of drama, if you will. I often use the word drama to describe the Similkameen Valley. We got really steep, stony sites, and so we worked really hard over the last 15 years developing certainly what I feel are some of Canada's most interesting vineyards. Think really endless depth of stone. Vines generally really adore these rugged climates and produce really intense flavored, unique wine characters. So we've got a vast portfolio. Pinot is certainly our sweetheart. I've loved making Pinot Noir from our estate vineyards since the very beginning. It's a unique region in a sense that we also grow Cabernet, stones throws aways from Pinot Noir. So our Pinot has some unique characteristics for that reason. The Similkameen is a gorgeous place to call home, and certainly one of the most exciting regions to make wine from in Canada.
Okay, so when this Courcelette was founded, take us back a little bit at the very beginning, and what was the vision at the beginning? Were you planning to build a portfolio on Bordeaux reds or more on the Burgundy varietals? What was the vision at the beginning?
Sure. Our first vineyards were purchased or planted and purchased in 2006, and then Courcelette we produced grapes and sold them, and then started kind of dabbling with the idea of winemaking for ourselves. So I've come from a long lineage of agriculture, so farming's always been our story. It was in 2010 that my wife and I decided that we were going to launch our own brand named Courcelette, named after a region in Switzerland where my family is from, where I grew up. And so it just kind of really clicked. Initially, our first planted vineyard had Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah. And as we just acquired different parcels of land that had their own unique growing conditions, so did the portfolio. So we have just finished a bunch of different replanting following some cold weather events, but we have a vast portfolio from all the Bordeaux reds, if you will, like Petit Verdot, Malbec, Cabernets, Merlots, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Viognier, and yeah, just to name a couple. And Pinot Noir, of course, now being an interesting part of our portfolio as we've moved our plantings uphill, Carl. And if you remember, I'd taken you to that very beginning. So there's lots of different single vineyard stuff we're doing with Pinot Noir. We really love playing with clones and rootstocks. Pinot Noir is probably the varietal in our portfolio that is the most exciting to really entertain different clonal characteristics in some of the unique wines we make from it. So.
Well, now you just get my attention, and we're going completely off script right there because you're talking about clone. I'm fascinating with Clone 115 and 777 Palmar. So, what would you say? So, you see, you're dabbling a little bit with different clone for different sites. What's your experience tells you? What's the Similkameen? Which one likes the rocky? Which one likes the little different soil composition? Can you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, so from vine behaviors, I think it's not as evident in like the physical nature of the vines. We'll find that different clones will go through bloom at different times and then be subject to different weather events at those particular times. So there's no two vintages are ever really the same, but there are some wine characteristics that are very consistent from different clones. So, for example, this 2019 that you've got. Is a blend of 777, which is, stereotypically more red fruit forward. So it's got a little bit of that darker color extraction, more punchy with red fruit, cherry, just a little bit of a larger mouthfeel, a little bit more tannic extraction. And 115, which is always a little bit more of this old world classical. So if it was vinified on its own, would almost have a bit of a brownie tinge to it. The skins, extract a lighter tannin and is more earthy, mineral, mushroom, forest floor, that kind of old school Burgundy wine. So those are the two that featured in this one. We've since planted 828 and 667, which again have a different set of characteristics that we look forward to vinifying and showcasing. But for the time being, we're still very much leading into the 115 and 777. We do a reserve wine that is an isolated portion of 115 because we really wanted to try to play just internally. Honestly, it's a fun project. We do 3-4 barrels of this a year and just try to keep it unique to express this more kind of classical.
Replicate a cru Similkameen or a cru Caramios.
It's fun. I mean, we like to dabble with Pinot because it's so unique. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We just got back from Burgundy for a scouting trip and
Ooh,
spent some time in Vosny-Romanée, Saint-Georges, and obviously I'm a Chardonnay guy, so I spent some time in Meursault. Looking for like we just rented a chateau for our members in the Beaune area. So
fun.
we're getting ready with 15 of our 15 couples from our club to hit the old world in June coming up. It's really exciting. So
Right
that
on.
that Pinot Noir conversation is very timely for people who are listening to us today. Really exciting. Maybe we should bring a Courcelette Estate Reserve with us
Oh,
to pour
please.
to some of the French vignerons out there.
Oh, it'd be very exciting to share the wines for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully they would really warm up to it because it's so unique. Our climate, just want to touch back a little bit on this because it's what makes the Pinot really unique from the Similkameen is when we're making wine, it's important to remember that really what we're doing is farming and managing skins. And Pinot, because it is so classically delicate and it's known to be when we expose it to these dramatic that sun intensity of the Similkameen in combination with the wind, we ultimately are getting a tougher skin that you typically would get from more delicate climate zones. So as a result, we really get to taste this climate probably some of the most. It's so responsive and so reactive to its environment. And that's why I think our particular Pinot program in the Similkameen is just kind of stands out. It's not really it doesn't play in the same playground as a lot of BC Pinots because of the intensity of climatic variables here.
Well, I mean, when I describe the Similkameen Valley to people who are not used to these you mentioned dramatic and to me I like what the Mira always classified the Similkameen like National Geographic-esque. And there's no place in Canada is like with that incredible this incredible landscape and all that. Now, in terms of winemaking and in vineyard in viticulture, there's two aspects to me that makes the Similkameen outside of the soil composition, which I'm not super familiar with, and outside of like obviously it's so rocky out there. It's the wind, and second, the diurnal shift. The difference between the hot sun of the day and the cold night, which preserve the acid and the structure of the wine, and the wind beats up the grapes, toughen up the skins and thicker the skin, bringing a little bit more rusticity into the flavor profile. Am I out for lunch here with my
No,
description? Is
no,
it a little bit?
no, that's totally it. And I'll also add because there's often like a little bit of like a negative, like oh people think oh wind like that sounds annoying, but the reality is Pinot is also known as the heartbreak grape because of these delicate skins are often susceptible to rot. We just don't have that here. So we've been farming organically for 8, 9 years, and this wind, although it be a nuisance in terms of having your hair done, really exposes our vines to a very disease-free environment. So, for the small amount of rain that we do get is often embodied with a bunch of wind or wind will follow. And so we just get these dry, warm, happy clusters throughout the year with no disease pressures. We've never had an issue with anything that's referred to as botrytis, which is why it's called heartbreak grape. And so, we get really clean fruit and, everything's hand-tended, hand-picked, carefully transported to the cellar deck. And so the particular Pinot blocks are 500-600 yards away from the cellar. So transport's nothing. And we've just produced, some really nice Pinot, like I don't want to make it sound easy, but we've got we're very blessed to grow Pinot in this climate. It just seems to always line up pretty well.
It's the Similkameen because I think it's Curamios. It's the organic capital of Canada or something like
It
that.
is. Yeah, there is more planted acres in the Similkameen Valley that are so ground crops, orchard crops, all of it. So more certified acres in the Similkameen Valley than anywhere else in Canada. It is the organic capital of Canada.
And the fact that the wind is just so dominant and consistent, that's what makes the organic farming not a walk in the park, but much easier or more possible
Yeah,
than it is in other region of the country.
It all ties into that diurnal temperature shift that you referred to earlier. When we get these intense heats and that solar radiation is moving all the air upward and it's holding cold air at higher elevation, when the solar radiation is reduced, when the sun sets, we get the cold air replaces that, because it's heavy. So cold air is heavy, and so it falls back into the valley. So we get this every 12 hours. We get a very significant air exchange in the valley. So the entire air supply is replaced twice a day, and so that's a tremendous amount of air to move. It's a tremendous amount of volume, and so it's just like, yeah, it's fresh, it's dry. It makes grape growing a treat for sure, as well as all other tree fruits and ground crops that are produced here.
I would like to talk about the 2019 vintage in particular because that's what we have here. So we have a 6-year-old Pinot Noir. I believe that 2019, to my recollection, especially in the Okanagan, it's known as a colder vintage. It's not known of a vintage for structure. It's known for a vintage with a lower alcohol. It was not that typical big bold Okanagan. How was 2019 from your vineyard in the Similkameen, Charlie?
Well, I would what I recall the most from 19 is just length of season, and so especially when we're talking about Pinot Noir and other earlier ripening reds, intensity is never ideal because we often will ripen these from a chemical perspective, so a combination of acids and sugars, too early, and we haven't achieved that phenolic ripeness. When we're talking about Pinot and some Merlot clones, that a more modest climate, but length of climate, it really punches out those flavors. And so we get a lot more developed, seed tannin, skin tannin, even rachis. So we'll do some whole cluster, so stem included to get a little bit of that green tannin. And so I really remember 2019 being a banner year for those earlier ripening reds. I do remember that we were, I won't say nervous, but we had to be proactive when we saw the season progress for our late ripening products. So Syrah and Cabernets, I remember doing some late season crop adjustments. But for Pinot, I remember fruit set being absolutely gorgeous. So it was a generous year. Our vineyards certainly provided us that nice 3.7 to 4.2 tons an acre on.
Oh, that's beautiful. The accountant liked that number.
Yeah, well, and so does the wine, Carl, because there is such thing as being cropped too low, especially when you are talking about Pinot Noir, because we push alcohols. So, and it really kind of fractures those delicate characteristics to the wine. So, 2019, again, I knock on wood that, but that was not a forest fire year for us. And so that's often a big challenge when it comes to Pinot Noir. It really takes that in, if you will. It was a banner year. I mean, I would take 2019s like all the time. If we knew they were coming, that would be a vintage to replicate, for sure.
Hey, having that Pinot conversation, Charlie. You're from Switzerland, so is Pinot is the grape varietal that you grew up with, in terms of seeing your family drinking for holidays or for celebration? Is it something? Is it the grape varietal a little bit closer to your heart in terms of what you prefer outside of the winemaking facility? Tell me a little bit about what your preference and how you grew up.
Well, so Switzerland's vast, very mountainous as well. So, they no two regions produce the same, but certainly a lot of Pinot Noirs produced Gamay and Garanais Noirs. They've got some their own kind of like red varietals. Yeah. But certainly Pinot, my grandfather was a big Pinot guy. And so Pinots from Switzerland and or France were very common at all celebrations. Pinot in general is the most versatile red wine, period. It is something that can be, really calculated in terms of food pairings, but sometimes you just want a nice glass of wine and Pinot's going to be that bottle you reach for. And a funny thing is, in terms of our lifestyle, so my wife and I's, if you went down to our wine rack and like, hey, what are all these big reds and why is there no Pinot on here? Do you not like Pinot? Well, the challenge is that we're always pulling the Pinot. So like, we're enjoying the Pinot. And so, but if you looked at our rack, there's none on there because we drink it as we buy it. So, so we find that really interesting. Pinot is, just, you can tap into a bottle of Pinot shortly after noon, and sometimes that is a more challenging situation with like a really big aged Bordeaux blend, for example, right? Those typically have a lane that they have to live in, but Pinot is like, hey, let's have a nice glass of red wine, and in the summer you can enjoy it a little bit chilled, and so it's just such a diverse varietal, and so we've increased our Pinot plantings much more than any other varietal. And so because of our past releases, and including the one that we're talking about here, has been very exciting to us and everyone who's enjoying it. So you're going to see more Pinot out of us, that's for sure. If that answers your question, Carl.
It does. It sure does. I mean, you guys should come to Burgundy with us. Holy smokes, that would be hey, like they're talking about the Pinot Noir in Chardonnay land. So no, we're really looking forward to that trip. That's for sure. Hey, growing up on the farm in Switzerland, how's the because it's Christmas Day. We're all cooking right now. Everyone, like the pans and pots are flying in all of the houses. We're out here in Canada. Family are gathering. What was your Christmas dinner looks like growing up?
Well, so we as Europeans, and I don't believe it was unique to us, we always celebrated on Christmas Eve. So the 24th was the big party, and often that was we didn't like the stereotypical you would think it'd be fondue or raclette or something like that, but no, we always actually had fondue bourguignon, which fondue chinoise, which is Chinese fondue, is just a different way of.
No, it seems like you're from Quebec, from where I'm from. That's exactly what happened. We celebrated on the 24th always, and the fondue chinoise. That's exactly what we're.
And the reason we did that is because that dining experience would be long, right? It's not like, and we could prepare a lot of that ahead of time, and it would just be like some pretty basic ingredients, but it was all about company and extending mealtime to something like 3 hours, right? We'd all sit around the table, and of course wine would be open at every single every available spot on the table would have a bottle of wine that wasn't being used for food, and we just kind of hung out that way. That's the way it really took place, and so we still very much hold that tradition here. And on the 25th is kind of like a rest, and of course the kids do the gifts, and so it's a quiet time typically. So, but would we enjoy a bottle of Pinot around noon? Absolutely, let's do it.
Are you guys doing the turkey with the girls and the wife for Christmas here?
We're gonna shake it up a little bit, actually. Fondue we've still done fondue bourguignon for years, and so we might shake it up a bit. So we don't know if there's gonna be a roast cooked, and we're still trying to finalize who's coming for dinner. We typically host between 12 and 15 people, so we'll see. We're still trying to tighten up those numbers and what we're going to do for mealtime.
I have to share with you before I let you go. We were in Burgundy, and flying from Burgundy, from Lyon, we were going to Romania. Mira's from Romania, right? So we were going to visit. So we spent a week in Romania, and we had almost a full day to spare in Lyon. So we decided, we look at the map, and Geneva was 3.5 hours from where we were, and so we decided to go for a cheese fondue in Geneva for lunch in Switzerland, and come back for our flight to Romania a month ago. So we just thought it was pretty cool just to sneak out in Switzerland for a fondue for lunch with the kids and come back.
Perfect. What a trip. Right on.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
and then every region in Switzerland will have actually a different fondue recipe, which is really interesting. So it'll be every canton has their own kind of specialized cheese. And that cheese, much like wine, is unique because they're pasture raised at different altitudes on different mountainsides. And so they'll eat different flours, which produces different flavor in the milk or the cream, and therefore the cheese. And so every region in Switzerland's got different fondue recipes, so that's also really unique.
There's terroir even in the fondue.
Yeah, that's correct.
There you go. Charlie, cheers to you. Merry Christmas to you, Jesse, the girls, all of your family. We greatly appreciate your time. Thank you so very much. Wish you all the best, and we sure hope to connect in 2026.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Carl, thank you so much to you and Mira and your family. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Nice.
There you go.
That's awesome.
I'm kind of sad.
I
This is
know a
the
few
last
people are
one.
texting us. We're sad this is the last day of the advent calendar. I know, but there's so many more exciting things coming up. I mean, even this Sunday, we're on for the BC Wine Insider's Guide, where we're spilling all the good and not so good tips, or things you need to know if you're coming for a wine tour in BC, or if you're collecting wine from BC. All of Carl's top
Wineries and wines and restaurants and stuff like that, right?
absolutely, and what makes each region different and special. So that's coming up on Sunday. That's an insider guide, and there's 3 other insider guides coming up, which is like an online 1 to 2 hour virtual experience that's very interactive. We're in Zoom, and a lot more structure than what you see in these lives. So you learn a lot, and then we also send you off with like um, written materials that are useful, like here's all the wineries that have free tastings right now, here's all the wineries that if you're a Chardonnay lover, you got to make sure you stop by if you can, things like that. So that's coming up. Awesome. Merry Christmas, you guys. Really great to see everyone. And Dean's saying that there should be a Pinot Noir insider guide. I think that's what Daryl is agreeing to there. Sipping on some Riesling from Lunescence. Fantastic. A great starter. That's right up the street from where we are here in Summerland. And
I
Stacy
mean,
and Jeff are finding the Pinot delicious. I thought it was super special. And it has that special Simiclamine like signature. There's that dustiness to it, I find, and that you get from the
also rich
Simiclamine.
fruit though. At this stage, at 6 years old, I think the fruit is coming out, and like the tertiary just starts with like, I mean, like a little bit of plummy. Really interesting. I know that the wine line didn't rate that wine great when it came out. Like I think it's in 2021. And I was looking at it, I was like, holy shit, what happened with these guys? This Pinot is fantastic. But yeah, I mean that's a big deal. Waiting for 6 years for these kind of wines, often they improve so much over the years. And I mean that's what we try to reflect in these 12 wines. Lots of them are library releases, and to bring a mix of new release and back vintages, just to showcase different wines at different stage was so much fun. Whoa, bless you,
Excuse
bless
me.
you, bless you. And
Absolutely.
I think it's time. First and foremost, let's do the 30 second of judging my scores at 92 plus points here with that Pinot Noir from Courcelette 2019.
Yeah, I
Uh,
would love
the
to hear what
the
you guys
floor
think.
the
And
floor is yours.
yes, and Karen says something interesting. We had several bottles of bubbles from Bella last night and this morning. We stumbled upon Bella through George McCarty here in West Kelowna, who brought it to one of our varietal marathons. I think for Pinot Noir, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, Pinot Noir marathon that we did. We had 56 Pinot Noirs, and he brought a Bella bubbly Pinot Noir, and it
As a
was
Palmar, that was Palmar clone sparkling
was one of
traditional
their super small
ancestral
batch
method.
wines. It didn't have a label. It just had like sort of a tag on the neck, and it was so good. It was really good. Anyway, we haven't had too many more of their wines, but interesting thing, Karen, is that Bella was on the Naramata bench. They are now in the Similkameen, which is where this Pinot Noir is from. So that'll be interesting, especially if they're going to use grapes from the Similkameen to make their bubblies going forward. That's super interesting. Another great advent calendar. Thank you so much. Looking forward to next year. All of you too, Stacy and Jeff. That's lovely. And
So
Karen says that they paired 6 bottles of Bella to 6 courses at their wedding in 2023. That is super cool. Wow.
really
That's
cool. Really cool. Wow, that's
must love
awesome.
bubblies. That's great. Nice.
I'd
Cheers. Merry
like to
Christmas.
ask if you guys can recall since day one the with the sparkling with the Noble Ridge, the one Grand Reserve. What is your top 3 wines of this advent calendar? If I may, you can put your top 3 here in the comments, and I might start myself. If I go back, I would say probably the Iconoclast is my number one. I think that the Viognier might be part of it too. I really, really, really enjoyed the Viognier. And the Rennie was quite something. I'm sure that I might forget a few. Ah, yeah, the Syrah. The
The
Syrah as
Syrah, you
well.
can't really beat the Syrah
Yeah,
in
yeah,
flavor.
yeah. So I said the Iconoclast, the Viognier, and the Syrah will maybe my top three. So, so
Yeah.
yeah, Mira, do you have
Jason and
something?
Jeff are not going to try, but they might pick the Cap Franc just to get at Daryl. Daryl has a great point. Maybe in future years, our wine for the Christmas bottle should be a Magnum. That would be kind of fun. Stratus White, the Organized Crime Cap Franc, and the Syrah.
Mm.
Well, you guys know that I love the Bushvine Syrah. I'm super sad that 2023 is the last one for a while because of the vine damage they had. So that's got to be in my top three. I
The
think
good thing, Mira, is there's some cases left, so we can stock up.
yeah, of the 2023. We're getting the pre-release. So the link I'm going to put in the chat here, if you haven't had a chance to look at what's available, there's a secret order link there at the top. It's in green button. And you can pick some of the 2020 Syrahs of the Bush Vines, the 23s. So a lot of these wines are, if they're still available, a lot of them are only available here and sometimes in small amounts. Some of them are available on the winery websites as well. But we will compile them for you and ship them out first week of January if you order through that link, and we'll email you to confirm. Haven't had them all yet as I was so sick. I know what you mean. I was sick too. This is Cap Franc and the one in Fairview and Rennie I haven't tried yet, just opening the Syrah. Ooh, if you're opening the Syrah, you're in for a treat. That's awesome. And Daryl really liked the Black Bank Hill Viognier, which I agree. Probably one of my sort of like sleeper favorites, like one of the
Oh yeah,
surprise.
oh absolutely. I'm 100% with you guys. 100%. Me too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we have a tourtière on, you guys, but it is not what most people think of when you look at tourtière. It's not like the ground meat pie. It is the kind of tourtière from up north Quebec, where our very Canadian Carl is from.
So
And I have
it's
to
the
make a
hunter. It's the hunter
pastry to
pie.
put over it. Yeah, so it's like big chunks. Like traditionally, what, Carl? That used to be made with whatever the hunters would catch, right? So it could be like rabbit, it could be deer,
Moose, deer,
moose.
or all of the above. So my grandpa will come back from the bush, like I would say, for like a month and a half. He was usually up there for 6 weeks. With because they had 13 kids, he will go out there with the three or four oldest boy, and they will hunt for like for 6 weeks, and they come back with so much stuff. And grandma would just throw a mix of everything. And because potato was dirt cheap, so and
Back
they were
then,
growing
anyway, not with
yeah,
inflation.
back then. Hey, this year we didn't had any potatoes here in the Okanagan on the 23rd. So
Because the highways were closed, the grocery stores had no food before Christmas. It was crazy.
so yeah, so that was the hunter stew, let's put it that way, with all of these wild meat and pork and potatoes and onions, cover with a nice crusty and crust and in the oven for 8 hours. So that was the, and I mean, more traditionally, my mom and my aunt will probably like would not so big into the wild meat, but there was pork and beef, and that's how we do it here. And our kids are always very excited for that to make a tortilla. So yeah, it's in the oven. We're gonna have that for dinner tonight with the other half of bottles of the Rainy Estate, and I think the G assemblage will probably be a big hit with that as well. And yeah, I mean, what an incredible 12 days. I'm so grateful. Thank you guys. Thank you to our winemakers for making times to join us Even if I said everyone there's going to be like a 15 minutes interview, no, it never had like no. I know that our daily meetup was like almost always over an hour, but we
That's pretty
enjoyed
fun.
that time so much daily that we're already thinking maybe something the same in the summer or something like that.
Camping edition, you know. But yeah, that's been so much fun, you guys. Thank you so much. I would love to do some prizes here. So like we said, we have virtual and in-person experiences now on our website. You can book them. If you're a VIP Unlimited member, there's 25% off until December 31st. So you get like the super early bird rates. And so one of the things you can win right now with this door prize is one of our virtual experiences. So this is like a deep dive into Canadian wine, into BC wine, into Canadian Chardonnay. There's 4 of them up there right now, and it's a $49 value. And there's also the in-person ones, but you can win one of the virtual ones here, or you can win an Enovino or a surprise bottle of wine. So we'll pick the person right now, and then I'll email you to see which prize you'd like to pick. Dun, da, da, da. Oh, Stacy, that was so close. Dean, I think it's you. Dean, congratulations.
There you go. That's awesome.
Congratulations. I just saw you on here.
Dean.
Karen's on, so congrats, Dean. Gonna email you.
Right.
You know what? Both Deans that were hanging out with us these last couple weeks won. Dean Leifso and Dean Corda. So congrats, Deans. Congrats. A lot of you guys won, which is really awesome. And we'll keep going. So New Year's Eve, guys, we're going to reveal our top 10 wines of the year like we have the last couple of years live. Prizes that night too. Maybe we can do some more new, interesting prizes. Yeah, congrats, Dean. That's awesome. So yeah, we're back on New Year's Eve and this Sunday on the 28th for those of you that are coming to the BC wine deep dive experience.
That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the tortilla tonight. I'm looking forward. We have 3 bubblies also sitting aside from from 3 different regions of Canada. I'm thinking of doing a little something about that. So I'm excited to crack open in the next few days 3 bubblies, one from Nova Scotia, one from Niagara, and one from the Okanagan. So I'm that's something who's bubbly.
We'll have to report back. We'll have to report back and see how
something's bubbling. Something's bubbling inside of me.
Yes, absolutely. And I think we'll post it on YouTube because we would love to post more of these kind of insider experiences we get to have on YouTube and share them more. So that will be a focus in the new year for sure. We'd love to have you guys follow us on YouTube if you're not yet.
Please follow us. Click the bell.
Subscribe on YouTube. Yeah.
Subscribe.
Awesome.
Subscribe. We want to get to 1,000. We want to get to 1,000 as soon as possible. So we love you guys. You guys are the best. Merry Christmas to all of you Canadian wine lovers. To all of you who've been following us for so long and supporting us. Mira Boucher, incredible time here in the last 12 days. That was fantastic. So yeah,
and I want to say a big thank you to you, Carl, because that is what you are world class at, is curating all these different wines. Like I would be so overwhelmed and I wouldn't know where to start, but Carl is truly a pro at that. And I think you put together an incredible mix of wines, and they're very, very awesome wines with really fantastic stories. So you did a great job, Carl. Thank you.
Kate, I'll take that. Thank you, but thanks to you. Because without you, I will not be able to reach out to all of our members and to all of our amazing people. So without your skills and your incredible efficiency and professionalism, like to lead us in front of the right people and like all of our beautiful members. So thank you, Mira Boucher. So, and yeah, so Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, everyone across the country, Merry Christmas.
Do this, Carl. Do this, Carl. There you go. There you go. Cheers, guys.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.